In the village of Darren's Reach, the sun had not fully risen in over a generation. The sky hovered in shades of bruised lavender and dull gold, as if morning never quite decided to arrive. Children were born under twilight, grew up chasing shadows instead of sunlight, and adults learned to work by memory, not sight. At the heart of this muted world lived Annel, a soft-voiced girl with a strange habit. She lit lamps no one used. Each dusk, while others rushed to hoard firewood and shutter their windows, Annel wandered the cobblestones with a brass lighter and her late mother's oil canister. No one stopped her, but no one helped her either. To most, light was nostalgic, a luxury, a flicker from the past. But to Annel, it was something else, a whisper of warmth, a promise that not all things needed to disappear quietly. Annel's mother had once kept the eastern watchtower flame alive, a signal of hope when travelers got lost in the fog. She passed when Annel was just 7, leaving behind only the tools and the memory of warm hands lighting wicks with precision and care. Villagers murmured about Annel, called her the Moth Girl, said she followed fire like it was a religion. She didn't mind. Every night, she visited the same lanterns, one on the baker's steps, another near the dried-out fountain, a third hanging crooked from a post beside the silent library. She would pause at each one, cleaning glass panes, refilling oil, striking the lighter. One spark, then two, then glow, and then, one night, she discovered someone had left a paper crane beside the third lantern, folded with care, its wings dusted with ash. On it, scribbled in small, careful handwriting, "Don't stop," it says. Winter came sooner than expected. Bitter winds crept through door cracks, and rations grew thinner. Still, Annel lit her lanterns. Her fingers numbed and blistered from the cold, but she pressed on. That season, small offerings began to appear. A knitted scarf placed gently beside a lamppost, a handful of dried berries in a pouch, tiny thanks from unseen hands. People began to notice her more, not directly, but in sideways glances and softer silences. One evening, Annel came upon a boy beneath the western bridge, curled beneath a cloak too thin for the frost. He held a shattered lantern with a cracked glass face. When he looked up, his voice was hoarse. "I thought the lights were for me." Annel didn't speak. She simply knelt beside him, took the broken lantern, and without a word, began mending it. The wick was still intact. She refitted the glass with ribbon and thread. When it lit, his eyes widened. He introduced himself the next day. Dane. No home, no family, just a name and a memory of watching someone light lanterns from the shadows. After that, he followed Annel each night. He carried extra oil, fixed hinges, wrote small poems and pinned them beside the flames. "For you, keeper of light," one said. "For the girl who turns night into something less lonely." Word spread. People began lighting lamps of their own, just outside their doors. Others began greeting Annel in hushed tones, offering kindling or jars of oil. Children tried copying her route. The village changed slowly, not in brightness but in spirit. It became a place where hope didn't scream. It glowed. One night, Annel was invited to the square. Dozens of lanterns stood there, arranged in a giant spiral. In the center, an empty lantern waited for her. Dane nudged her forward. "It's for you to light." She did. The entire village stood silently, watching the light grow. Years later, when Annel had long disappeared, her story remained. They called her the Keeper of Small Flames. Children acted out her lantern walks in games. New residents heard stories about how one girl shifted the heart of a dying town. The spiral of lanterns became tradition. Each year, on the darkest night, the village gathered to light them again. They added a new lantern each year, one for each person who had ever joined the walk. No one knew what became of Anil. Some said she wandered to other twilight villages. Some whispered she became a flame herself. But one boy, now grown, now lighting his own town's corner with handmade lamps, remembered the final thing she had told him. The light wasn't just for you, she'd said. It was always for whoever needed it next. And so the glow continued, quiet, brave, unstoppable. Noah was 12 when he wandered into Ellery's time shop. The doorbell was a chime, but not a sharp one, more like a heartbeat in brass. Inside, clocks ticked in harmonies, pendulums swaying like dancers in unison. Mr. Ellery was thin and bent, with thick glasses and steady hands. He barely spoke, but when he did, his words carried weight. "Time doesn't stop," he once told Noah. "It just waits for someone to notice." Noah began sweeping floors in exchange for lessons. He watched gears spin and springs recoil. Ellery taught him not just how clocks worked, but how they remembered. "Every tick is a memory," he said. Then, one rainy afternoon, Ellery handed Noah a pocket watch. "Fix this, and you'll understand the rest." Noah took it home, unsure, excited. He opened it carefully, revealing a cracked gear and a missing spring. Took him 3 weeks. When it finally ticked again, it was a sound more satisfying than applause. Ellery smiled once. It was the only time Noah saw it. Winter came. Ellery grew quiet. One day he didn't open the shop. The next day he was gone. Noah wound the watch one more time. It stopped the moment the funeral ended. Years drifted by like falling leaves. Noah wandered across towns and villages, always with his satchel of tools and the broken watch nestled in velvet. He fixed tower bells, mantle clocks, wristwatches, but never opened Ellery's piece again. In every clock, he looked for something familiar. The same sound, the same kindness, the same lesson. In one foggy town near the coast, he found a train station bench and stayed there longer than usual. It was there he met her. A girl with charcoal-stained fingers, sketching people waiting under the great iron clock. "You draw clocks?" he asked. "No," she said. "I draw moments." She became his friend. Then more. Noah found himself laughing, teaching local children how to fix simple gears, sketching out ideas for a shop of his own. Still, he didn't open the watch, until a boy arrived one rainy evening, holding out a rusted timepiece engraved with E+L. "I think this belonged to my grandmother," he said. The lettering matched Ellery's work. Noah's breath caught. He opened the piece. Inside was the same design, clockwork poetry, familiar not just in shape but in intent. Noah spent 3 days restoring it. As he did, he remembered not just Ellery, but the silence they shared, the quiet learning, the care. He looked at the old watch in his pocket. He knew it was time. He returned to Ellery's shop. It had been turned into a tea house, but the bones were the same. Clock impressions still lined the walls. The front window bore faded letters, "Time waits for memory." Noah placed the watch on the table, not to repair but to honor. He wound it once. It ticked, faint, steady. Outside, a child stood watching. Noah stepped outside and offered a small silver pocket piece. "Want to learn?" he asked. The child nodded. In that moment, time didn't stop. It expanded. Noah knew now time wasn't a line. It was a loop, and every tick echoed forward.